The next time it rains, notice what happens to the runoff. Storm drains collect huge amounts of water from rain gutters, driveways, sidewalks, and streets in most towns and residential developments. And where do the storm drains lead? Usually to the nearest creek or waterway. Uncontrolled stormwater runoff causes soil and sediment to erode from land and from stream banks. It can increase the risk of flooding. It can also take along with it a harmful mixture of chemicals picked up from surfaces, such as automotive fluids from driveways. What can be done about stormwater runoff? Every little bit helps. If the runoff from every home and driveway were controlled at each property, absorbed by good soils and plants, or even reused, pollution and erosion from stormwater flows would be greatly reduced. One beautiful way of slowing and filtering stormwater is to construct and maintain a rain garden. County and municipal governments are being required to manage stormwater runoff to a greater extent than they did previously. This calls for large-scale rain gardens as well as other kinds of practices. On the local scale, however, organizations such as Opequon Creek Project Team and individual homeowners can also contribute to the effort. Our organization has contributed to the design and installation of 2 large urban demonstration rain gardens. You will see the steps for constructing one of these larger gardens. Listen for some of the tips for the simpler, cheaper style that can be installed in a typical back or front yard. The Opequon Creek Project Team was involved in installing a rain garden at a City of Martinsburg property on an area that has about 3 acres of city blocks and roads draining toward it. The rain garden at this site will filter and slow stormwater before it goes on to nearby Tuscarora Creek. It is important to choose an area with well-drained soil. Also, be sure to call Miss Utility to mark the site for buried utilities before doing any digging. The first step in constructing this large-scale type of rain garden was to excavate the garden area to a depth of 4 feet. Excavation this deep will probably not be necessary for the typical residential rain garden. For this project, a drainage pipe was laid atop 1 foot of gravel at the bottom of the excavated hole. This pipe will allow us to monitor water quality and quantity as it is processed through the rain garden. Then landscaping filtering fabric was laid down to keep voids in the gravel from becoming choked with dirt. So far, none of these first steps are usually necessary for a typical rain garden in a single residential lot. The next step, however, is essential for the proper functioning of any good rain garden. A sand-rich, quality topsoil is added to fill the hole. In addition to sand for good drainage, it also contains organic matter. This is one of the layers of the garden where the action of bacteria and plant roots and other processes help to break down or filter pollutants out of the stormwater. This layer need not be 3 feet deep in a typical smaller rain garden. Most recommendations are between 3 and 12 inches deep over an area of about 50 feet, or about 20 to 30% of the amount of roof or driveway area that will drain into it. Now the hole is filled with good soil and ready for planting. There's a huge selection of plants appropriate for use in a rain garden, from grasses and flowers to shrubs and trees. Selection should be made based on the individual site, considering sun and shade, wind exposure, and the fact that the plants will be wet at times and dry at others. Native plants are better suited for these conditions because once established, they can tolerate wet or dry weather. The garden should be watered regularly until plants have healthy root systems. Plants comprise a vital layer of the rain garden, where filtering and absorption of stormwater and its pollutants can occur. The plants also provide habitat for wildlife, especially flying insects like honeybees and butterflies. Your local garden center may have the knowledge of plant species to assist you, and your local county extension office and master gardeners are rich sources of information as well. Finally, a 2 to 4 inch layer of hardwood mulch is applied around the base of the plants and over all of the spaces between plants. Mulch is a necessary part of the rain garden's functions. It keeps the roots protected from heat and freezing, discourages weeds, and conserves water. All that is left to do for a healthy rain garden is periodic weeding and routine watering while plants are being established. There you have the finished rain garden. The simple definition of the smaller scale type of rain garden is a shallow depression in your yard that is planted with native wildflowers and grasses. The steps for constructing one are: determine the size and depth needed based on drainage area and whether the soil drains well. Dig 3 to 12 inches and replace with sandy, good quality topsoil. Plant native plants suitable for the site. Add 2 inches of mulch. Water, weed, and maintain the rain garden. Contact Opequon Creek Project Team if you have any questions at administrator@opequoncreek.org. Now you know, and can pass this knowledge on to your friends and neighbors. Remember, every little bit done by each homeowner will help your community to manage its stormwater runoff, to protect and restore clean water to our local creeks and groundwater. Rain gardens are an affordable and beautiful pollution solution that you can do at home.